Good morning, blessed greetings. Welcome to the WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast. It's the Wednesday check-in for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. This is Pastor Vince. We're back once again. I know we didn't come together last week because there was nothing new to share with you, nothing new to report. And as I've said many times in the past, if there's nothing new to share or to report, then we won't come together. However, I got something new to share with you this week, and that is we're making some changes once again to our programming here on the podcast. Our segment that's called Ask the Pastor, we are suspending that for now. We may bring it back later, but for now it is suspended. There will not be any new episodes or new presentations of Ask the Pastor. You can always go back and listen to the past episodes of Ask the Pastor. So we're looking forward to bringing in a new program this fall called Family Focus. God cares about families. We do too. And it is a known fact that the health of any church or congregation, I'm speaking, of course, of spiritual health, even now, more so than ever before, not only spiritual health, but physical health, mental, emotional, all that is a reflection of the pastor, of course, or the leader of that church or congregation, because that person has been called to lead or shepherd a flock according to, the Bible, of course. But also it is a reflection of the families, or the individuals or families that make up that church or congregation. So we want to focus on families. Every week, we want to pray for families. We want to lift up families. We want to encourage families. We want to look at different family issues. And we'll get into more of that as we get closer to our launch of Family Focus. So once again, God cares about families, and we do too, which is why we are called to start this new program here at the podcast called Family Focus. So stay tuned for that. And until then, please continue to support, listen to this podcast as you have been. If this is your first time, I welcome you. I pray this is not your last time listening to the WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast. And as I've always said in the past, that the WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast is a virtual outreach ministry of Sacrificial Lamb Ministries. Now I will start saying that the WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast is a global outreach ministry of Sacrificial Lamb Ministries, which it is because we have people all over the world, literally, who listen to this podcast. We have connections, for example, in the Philippines. I mean, places outside of the United States, of course. So outside of the United States, the Philippines that I know of, Jamaica, parts of Africa, and so forth. So I will be saying from this moment forward that this is a global outreach ministry of Sacrificial Lamb Ministries. Continue to support us financially whenever you can, as often as you can. I've also said many times in the past, I'm not one to beg people for money, to hit people over the head for money. I know from conversing with people directly in person, I see through social media and YouTube and just all across the gamut how people feel about giving to ministry, to church. There are many hang-ups and all this kind of stuff. I'm not getting into all that. I'm just saying that I understand where many people these days are coming from when it comes to giving to church, to a ministry or whatever. But I'm asking you, on behalf of Sacrificial Lamb Ministries, to please give as often as you can, as much as you can. Any amount will be appreciated. So let me just emphasize that. Any amount is appreciated. You can use our Cash App, which is $SLM Concord. Again, $SLM Concord. Or if you like to use PayPal, you can send it to paypal.me or paypal.me/Pastor Vince 55. All right. Thank you so much for listening. Continue listening to the WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast. We've got our weekly programming coming up later this week. On Friday at sunset, we have Sunset Praise as we welcome in God's Holy Sabbath Day. which is Saturday. And then we come back Saturday morning or Sabbath morning for our weekly program called Eyes on Prophecy. And let me just backtrack and just repeat that Sunset Praise happens at sunset, Friday into Saturday. And then Sabbath morning, which is Saturday morning at 7 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, we have Eyes on Prophecy. So hope to see you, or not see you. Of course, I can't see you, but I'm just hoping that you would join me for Sunset Praise later this week, as well as Eyes on Prophecy. Until then, friend, be blessed. Take care. May the Lord be with you. And thank you for listening to the WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast, where we stand for God's truth, not man's traditions, and we bring you straight Bible truth for these last days. The WSLM Radio Ministry Podcast is a global outreach ministry of Sacrificial Lamb Ministries. We are outreach driven. Take care.